Hi and welcome back. Today I am very excited and I'm really looking forward to this. I stood and it took me 2 hours, but I did order both of the Shane and Jeffree conspiracy collection collabs. I have the conspiracy palette and the mini controversy palette, and I am beyond excited to actually try these out and like use them because I've had them since yesterday, but I wasn't able to film this yesterday, and I'm so excited. I'm wearing my robe because that's Shane and that's actually somewhat Jeffree too, and because it's I was gonna say the morning, it's not the morning anymore, but I'm so excited. I've done just like a light foundation, concealer, powder, and some bronzer as a base to try this. Oh, it's really tight. Oh my, it is beautiful. Look at it. Oh my god. I mean, the packaging on these is very thought through. I'm really happy. Like, if you've seen the series that they did basically like a documentary. Shane has it on his channel, and if you haven't seen that, go watch it, because if you're into anything that's makeup, it is so interesting to like actually see like the business aspect, like how they do everything. Like, it just following the whole process was very intriguing, and it made you really want to like have a piece of it, which I think was one of like the main reasons why they did it. But also because Shane probably wanted to, like, this was such a big thing for the both of them, and I just think it's so amazing for them to be able to like look back on that, like, because this is like one of the biggest things for the both of them. They can now just like have those memories and like look back at this amazing time of their life where they did all of this. But that's so amazing. But what I was gonna get to is, in that series, I'm so happy that they didn't go with the first two designs that they had for this palette, and I'm really happy that they did this one instead, because I think it just looks way more them. I feel like it's a very good mix of Shane and Jeffree, and I feel like it represents them more than the other ones did. The other ones felt a little bit like not so personal as this does. So it has the little clasps and then the mirror. I'm not going to show you my desk, but this is what it looks like. I'm so excited. Oh my god. I haven't planned out a look. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that I am using it. And then there's the mini controversy. This packaging to this one has a very interesting like texture on it. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Like, this is like textured, all this white kind of has a texture to it. It's smooth, but it's also like a little rugged. I can't explain it. It's a very interesting texture. But yeah, so this is the big boy. This is the controversy palette. And they have kind of done this as like an everyday row, a pop of color, and like an autumny, more deep like autumn feel to this in winter. And I just feel like this palette has so many Christmas, New Year's Eve looks to me, like with the greens and the plums and all of that. It's very fall and Christmas, like especially like these two rows. I feel like that's so fun, like New Year's Eve, Christmas time. And then I got the little one, the mini controversy. I love the names, which is like a blue, purple kind of moment. This shade. Even if I didn't care for the other shades, I would almost love to just have this. Because this shade, when they swatched it in the documentary, I was just like, I really want that. Like, I need it. And I was so happy that they included it, because they did take away some of the shades that you got to see. Like, they had a green, like a really nice green that they took out. I mean, I've obviously ordered this online, and I live in Sweden, so it took some days to get here. So I have seen like other people's reviews and what they say. Some are complaining about like kick up in the pan. This was the same thing that happened, like if you remember the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, when that came out, everyone was like, it is so much kick up, it's so much fallout, blah, 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 blah. And then the people who was just like, oh, it has kind of like a lot of kick up in the pan, I'm just gonna lightly dip in and do that, they never had a problem. And I personally am not the kind of person when it comes to shadows, like, I don't know if this is going to be an issue for me. I don't know if it's like a lot of kick up. Some people say that it is, but I'm personally a person who just kind of like taps my brush into shadows. I don't swirl it. I don't do my makeup that way. So I'm not sure if that probably alters people's like reaction towards it. Like the way that they are used to picking up product from a pan. But I'm very excited. I'm gonna try, I don't know if I'm gonna try to do like every shade in the way that I did with the Viseart one. Like I really want to create some looks. Maybe I will just do 2 eyes, because with these palettes, a video that will come up after this, I'm going to use these for a whole week. So I'm going to use these at work, I'm going to use these on the weekend. I will be like really testing these out and creating a lot of different looks. So maybe I won't try to like do every shadow now. I will try to do 2 looks, I think, 1 on each eye. Or I will see what I want to do and how it goes. Let's just put it at that. But I'm extremely excited. I've been rambling. I don't know if anything of what I just said makes sense, but we're starting. I'm doing this. It's getting really hot, so I think I might take this robe off. I have a t-shirt underneath. I'm so excited. I just want to really try this, so I'm gonna just get on with it. It's a really good mirror. Okay, no, it's getting too hot. I'm taking that off. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna start off with just a blending brush. I have this Luxe Defined Crease brush in 225. When I put my base on and everything, I did set my lids, because I do usually set my lids, because I can get quite oily lids because I have combination skin, so some parts of my skin gets oily, and I also have hooded eyes, so it's very easy for things to like crease and transfer, so I usually do set my lids. I've heard on people's reviews that sometimes the like pigmentation and everything is way more bright and like stays on better if you do it on a wet base than if you set your lids, but I usually do set my lids, so I will try that first. Most people are saying like if you do it on a wet base it's more pigmented. That kind of goes for most shadows, like always it's gonna stick better and it's gonna like have more payoff. That kind of goes with all shadows that exist on the market. I'm starting with the big one because I'm mostly excited about this, and I'm going into Tanacon, which has the little crying Illuminati eye on it, and I'm just dipping my brush in. Oh, it does have some kick up. I'm just very lightly dipping my brush in. I'm tapping that off. It does, like, there's some dust that comes off, which, I mean, it's the same. I feel like that is with every shade. See, this is the thing. I was like, this shade is gonna disappear mostly into my skin tone, but it seems like it appears lighter in the pan than it appears on the eyes because it is showing up, like it is creating depth there. See, this is why I don't mind kick up, because you see that has pigment, like that actually put down pigment. It blended very nicely, like it did create some depth, even though like looking at it in the pan, I would have thought on my skin tone it wouldn't create depth. It would more be like just slightly dark. I mean, it is just slightly darker, and it's a very nice shade for someone with my skin tone or a similar skin tone to just use as a transition shade. But when I'm building this now, it is building like shape. Like this one, at least you can build up, and I would expect that you can then do that with all the mattes. This is, I'm still going in with Tanacon. They definitely show up darker than they appear in the pan. At least this one is. It's showing up way more than I thought it would on my skin tone. I'm not entirely sure, like I've thought about it with this palette, like depending on skin tones. And I definitely think that there are some colors, if you have a really deep skin tone, then maybe you'll feel like I can't really use that. But then I feel like all the light colors are very pigmented, so I do think that they would pop. I think maybe if you have like a medium skin tone, the Diet Root Beer might disappear a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't tried them on a deeper skin tone. I haven't seen anyone review it with a deeper skin tone, so I can't really speak on that. But I definitely feel like most of the shades, like a good 90%, you could definitely use in both of these palettes. I just keep building up Tanacon here. It's building up very nicely. It shows up and you can build it up way more than I would have thought looking at it in the pan. Honestly, I really want to use the really yellow one with the black, and I really want to use these two together. I'm going in with some Diet Root Beer, like right just at the edge. This is a really pretty shade. I hear a lot of people saying that they're kind of happy about the repeat shade, which is the Diet Root Beer shade. But looking at the way that that looks, like if you did get both palettes, I feel like that's the shade you're gonna use the most. Like, especially if you're, like, depending on your skin tone, obviously, it's gonna be different kind of what's your go-to crease shade. But this one is definitely, for me, the one that I will use the most. Like, I could just use this all over my eye, just blend it out as like an everyday to work type of thing. I brought it up to my crease now. I didn't mean to. It just kind of went by habit. I don't know what I want to do. I'm gonna have to do more than 2 looks. I'm at least doing 4. I'm going into Cheese Dust. So I'm going into the orange. It has a little pink on it. Like, I'm tapping up in the corners because I don't want to ruin the, like, really fun shapes that they've put. I'm gonna put this at the top through the crease. And I think I'm going to fill the whole lid in with the red and then put the really purple at the edge. You do not need a lot. Like, I tapped in, like, twice, I think. Okay, this is my first time trying out the shade, so I'm not really trying to make something that's like, oh, so beautiful, because that's not what's happening. Okay, I just saw that, like, they have kind of really, like, they've done the top row, and then if you do any of the bottom rows, like, this is kind of a 4. You could use that for an intense look. This is kind of a 4. You could use that, and this is kind of a 4. I mean, actually, maybe not these two, but you could. I'm conflicted. I want to use all of them at the same time. No, I'm gonna pack the red all over the lid and see what happens. Okay. See, I'm doing this on a powdered base, so I wonder if this is actually gonna be, like, nice or not. I'm gonna pick up the small sable hairbrush that I have and pack some on with that. Why I pick up a sable brush hair is basically because a sabled hairbrush is gonna be the type of brush hair that's gonna pick up and put down the most product for you. This is actually a really pretty shade. It lays down very evenly, but sometimes I think when you put on mattes, they can lay down quite like chalky, and this isn't doing that. I should have definitely done this on a wet base, but that's like my fault. That's a really pretty shade. If my mom saw this, she would laugh at me. Definitely, this is not her type of makeup. She doesn't like anything red or orange because she thinks it makes you look sick. Okay, I'm going into Not a Fact, which is the deeper purple. I really like that. It blended with the red beautifully. I'm dipping into some more to build it. I'm just kind of tapping because that's what I usually do. And then I start blending. It isn't wiping off the lid shade. I was scared when I was like going over like this that it was going to start wiping off the red, but it hasn't done that, which I'm really impressed by because usually they do that. Like if you start going over them, they usually start like disappearing. I haven't gone over it like tons of times, but I feel like it's a very usual thing when you do mattes or shimmers really. I'm still going over that again with the red to kind of blend it over the purple. The pigmentation and everything is beautiful. Like, say whatever you want, it's beautiful. The orange underneath has kind of just made it look a little bit like a brownie purple. I'm just kind of winging it out a little bit. I see what that does, and I like it. I don't know what to do on the lower lash line just yet. I think we take one of the shimmer shades. Or you know what, maybe we should just go all out with the purple. So now on the lower lash line, we are going to take this purple. And the point of this isn't to make a beautiful look, it's to show you the shades. And to myself, figure out how they work, what you can do with them, what works, what doesn't, how great they are, the blendability, that kind of thing. Now I'm taking that same brush and I'm going into the deeper plum purple that is Not a Fact from the Conspiracy palette, and I'm kind of putting that as a tie it together right at the edge Try to make that darker right at the corner. There we go. Okay, that's the red and the purple. Just slightly winged out. I wonder if you put just a theory over top of the red, what would happen? Or actually, should we try to put Trisha? Because it's the pink. Grabbing a little bit of her. Wow. Oh, that was not hard to work with. Covered the red completely. There's still a lot on my finger. You do not need to dig into these, okay? Let me stress that. You don't need to dig at all. After the Trisha shade, I'm gonna dip into some more of that Not a Fact and just kind of blend the edge to that. That is beautiful. Wow, the shimmer shades are really like, they feel beautiful. The mattes work really well together with the shimmers. I can tell here, like they blend together with the shimmers and they kind of like coexist very nicely. Okay, so to the other eye, I'm doing the pigment shade, which has a little pig on it in the crease, I think. So it does have kick up in the pan. I will give people that. But honestly, if it has kick up in the pan, I don't really care as long as it sticks to your eyes and it shows pigment, because I feel like it annoys me more if I have to keep dipping and keep dipping and keep dipping and nothing shows up on my eye than if there's some kick up and I get beautiful payoff on my eyelid. I value that payoff more than it looking clean. I'm now going to lay down the food videos, which is the yellow color, all over my lid. I did not tap off my brush this time, and I don't actually see any fallout whatsoever. But I am also like a tapper before a swiper, so maybe that does play into it. Blending that up. Oh, it blends beautifully. I'm gonna pair the yellow with the black. So I'm dipping into my rights here. I'm using pigment at outer edge to blend that, and I think it's honestly working very nicely. Or, well, I'm not really using it to blend it, I'm using it to kind of smoke that out. And then I am grabbing, I want a smaller, more packing sized brush. This would probably work. I'm just gonna use this little travel brush, but I'm gonna use this part of the brush and to dip into that black, and I'm just dipping the top, dipping the top of it, and I'm really tapping that off. That's actually a really nice black. More of the pigment shade going over top of that again. Going in with more of the yellow. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm conflicted, however, what to do underneath. I'm gonna go with the pigment shade underneath. And then I'm grabbing with that same brush a little bit of that black. I'm just pulling that on the inside here and up and around basically to kind of tie that together and elongate the eye. And I'm now using the clean side of this one to kind of blend that. So far I've had no fallout whatsoever on the rest of my face from either of the eyes. I have not wiped underneath anything, and you can't see anything basically. I will obviously play around more with these when I wear these for an entire week, and I will basically dedicate a whole week to just trying these out and trying to see everything that I can do with them basically, because I really want to use them. I obviously don't have any mascara on. This is just my lashes, so that you can see the shades fully. There's nothing distracting it. It obviously doesn't look as good like as a look without it, but I'm not wearing it as a look. I'm trying them out to see the shadows. Okay, I'm taking a little food break, and then I'll continue. I'm not sure what to do right now. I'm not sure like which shades to do. I'm gonna do 2 more looks, but this right here and some of the blues I know I want to use. I don't know what my hair is doing at all. It didn't come out as it usually does. I don't know what I did wrong. I really want to use both of the greens, really. Cry on My Couch is also like a really light one, so I'm just gonna use that to kind of cancel out the redness on this lid. I feel like I'm gonna try to use the more intense shades. So this time around, I don't think I'm gonna use every single one today, but I do want to do 4 looks because I do, like myself, want to see like how they perform. I'm dipping into blue on What's the Tea at the bottom with a little teacup in it, and I'm tapping that off. See, I would honestly think, because I feel like I brought that a little bit too far forward, like it's kind of like bringing out the blue that's in my eye there. If I just take a little bit of Cry on My Couch, because these are very pigmented, and I just kind of put this in the inner bit here, that cancels that out immediately. So I feel like they've kind of given you, if you have a similar skin tone to mine or like a lighter skin tone, they've kind of given you a little bit of an eraser here. Okay, I'm dipping into Diet Root Beer in the Mini Controversy palette, and I'm just tapping that at the outer edge, and I'm using that to try to deepen the crease a little bit. I'm going in with my rides here again, some of that black, and I'm taking it on a fluffy blending brush. I am tapping that off. And I'm going it back in with What's the Tea, the like greeny blue shade. And dipping into the black. And I'm kind of just mixing that over the top. Not sure if that just made it muddy with like those 2 colors specifically, but I think it might tie well with the Illuminati and the Conspiracy when we put those on, which I think is probably going to be about now. However, I'm going to try something that I don't really do, and I'm going to cut the crease a little bit. So I'm just grabbing a tiny bit of concealer on my little brush. Getting my tiny sabled hair brush, and I am dipping into Illuminati, which is this deep green shade. I would definitely advise anyone who tries these to use them on a wet base. Beautiful. And I'm kind of using that shade to kind of smoke it out. I'm going into Conspiracy, which is the greenish gold shade, and I'm gonna put that in the middle. And then I'm going into Diet Cola, and I'm gonna put that right at the front. Okay. Okay! I really like that. I think that's as good as we're gonna get it. I'm dipping into some Cry on My Couch, just on a fluffy brush, and I'm cleaning up the inner corner here. Okay, so what to put underneath? I think I'm gonna put some of Ranch at the inner corner and around the front of the lower lash line. I'm taking some of that black. I'm taking some of Conspiracy on that tiny little brush. And so far I have no fallout. Okay, we're using the blues on this eye. I'm using the really light blue shade that's called Flat Earth, which is this one, and I'm just putting that through my crease. You can kind of see that there's like a light reflect. I'm now going in with Canceled in my crease. Okay, I feel like I need something a little deeper. And this is a foiled shimmery shade, and I want to use that on my lid. So I am going to mix Canceled So I'm going to mix Canceled and Controversy and see what that does. I'm going into just Canceled. I'm still using the same brush. And I'm going over the edges of what I just did. They have given you a lot of shades that you can kind of mix together and create a lot of other shades as well. I'm just gonna build up this inner bit right there. And I think I might want something even deeper to do that, but we'll see if we can just build it up. I feel like blues never look like right on me. I don't know why. I'm going to do what I did with the concealer on the other eye on this side too. I want to do the blue shadow that's down here called the Simulation, basically all over the lid. I'm using the same sable hairbrush and I wiped it off. That's a very pretty blue shade. Look into my boyfriend's purse at the top here. It's like a nice champagne color. It doesn't blend, it's too light to blend well with the blue. You know what we'll do? I'm bringing the blue all the way down. I'm just putting it over the top and trying to blend them into just something lighter because the contrast between the really, really light and the blue wasn't great. Kind of looks okay. I am, however, going to dip into the blue and then Not a Fact from the Conspiracy palette, which is the deeper purple, which is a deeper purple than the one in here, and then dipping back to the blue again. So I'm mixing that even deeper purple with the Canceled shade. And okay, I think I need to leave the top of this eye now. And I think I might do what I did with the other eye. I'm going to go in with a mixture of Canceled and Controversy. I'm just going to speed up where I use some of the shades that I didn't use now. And by that I mean some of the shimmer shades, because there are more shimmer shades that I haven't used. And you will see all of them used in conjunctions where I actually try to make like a beautiful look. If you wait like a week, because I'm doing a video where I'm wearing these two palettes for an entire week. I'm wearing them to work, I'm wearing them at home, I'm trying them out like foolproof. I will have check-ins, you will see how they wear, you will see all of that. But that video is going to come out in about a week. I'm going to speed up when I use some of the ones that I haven't used still and try to create something that actually looks good on both of my eyes, and then I will put on mascara. I used Diet Root Beer, Not a Fact in the crease, and then I just put My Apology from the Mini Controversy palette all over the lid, and then I brought Diet Root Beer underneath the eyes and a little bit of Not a Fact right at the outer corner, and then that's what I did just now. It's kind of a plummy fall, like, smoky look. I didn't mean to get it this smoky. I used some of the black, my rides here, just along the lash line as well. So these palettes, I honestly thoroughly enjoyed all of the shades that I've tried today. I genuinely think that they're really nice shadows. From what I've heard with other people, everyone says that there's a lot of kick up in the pan. I mean, this was a thing with the Anastasia Modern Renaissance as well. People are saying that there's more kick up with these shades than there have been in Jeffree's previous palettes. I have not tried any of Jeffree's other shadows, so this is the first time that I'm using any of them. to me, I don't think there was like tons and tons of kick up. But I'm also not a person who swirls a brush in a shadow. I usually just pat my brushes into my shades, and the same when I use like metallic shades, I just swipe very lightly because that's how I usually use my shadows. However, if you're one to usually like swirl your brush, you're not going to be able to do that with these shades. Or I mean, you could, but you're going to have a ton of kick up if you do that with these palettes. So for me personally, and I don't feel that I did anything differently in the way that I would usually apply or the way that I would normally do any looks or anything, and there was no fallout on my face. I have not wiped underneath my eyes once during this entire process, and I did what, 4 looks outside of this one, on if you count each eye, and I had no fallout on my face. The black, in my opinion, isn't like jet black if you just like swipe it on, which I would honestly prefer, because I prefer a black that I can blend out and smoke out into like sort of a gray, which, I mean, this one didn't really go to a gray, it stayed pretty black. But if you want it to be like jet black, you kind of have to pack it on, which in my opinion is fine. I think it worked beautifully. It did show black, it did show smoky. However, I did not pack it on, I didn't build it up because I'm not going out in it, I'm not using it specifically today. I'm just trying it. So in my opinion, these palettes are actually really good. I personally love the color selections and the way that Shane and Jeffree has done this, but I mean, Shane picked the shades. So like the shades he has picked, the palettes are so unique. Like you will not find a palette like this on the market now. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of copies and redos of these palettes because they have been a very big sale, a big thing on the internet and on the market in general, because everybody wanted a piece of this because of the whole series, because of everything. And like, I understand it because I don't have anything like these palettes in my collection at all. I don't have anything that reads in these tones. I don't have like a lot of these blues that he's put in here. Like for example, the What's the Tea shade, like these two to me are very unique. Like the undertone in this, I haven't really seen a lot of shades with this like greeny blue shade. Like I haven't really seen a shade like this. And I mean, these pops of colors here and there, like I genuinely think these are really beautiful palettes, and the packaging is just stunning. Like it's really beautiful, it's really well done. Like this is heavy, it feels luxurious, like you feel like you've spent your money on something beautiful. It's definitely a statement piece. When my mom saw this, she was like, you can't like stack anything on that. And I mean, you kind of can, because there's a flat little edge there, so you can stack something on it. Like this is the mini controversy, like you can put that there. However, it does take up a bit of room. Yes, maybe not the best palette to travel with. However, this is very sturdy packaging. I don't think there would be any issues whatsoever to travel with this. Like considering like how sturdy and like well built the packaging is, I feel like it would definitely be like drop proof and it would probably survive a lot of travel. This is more like standard how a palette is. However, this is also very nice. I feel like this would really hold up, and it feels very like sturdy and just, it feels expensive. Like both of these feel expensive, and I genuinely think that with packaging, with the colors, with everything, it's definitely worth to get them. Like if you can get your hands on these and like the colors, you like Jeffree and Shane, like you want to support them, this is what speaks to me the most, because I mean, one has more shades, like there's more to speak to you, and there are those pops of colors that I absolutely love. I think they work beautifully, and all of the ones that I've tried, even the shimmer shades, blend very well, because sometimes shimmer shades can just kind of like, if you blend them, you're left with only glitter, like the actual pigment of the shade disappears. I didn't find that they did that, and I also didn't find that the mattes, if you went over, like if you went back into the crease, it didn't take away from the lid shade, whether that was a shimmer or a matte. And I find most of the time that it does do that, and these shadows did not do that. They didn't like patch off when you went back in through the crease, and that made me very impressed because I'm not used to not having to do that. So all overall, I definitely think they're worth getting because they do say that this is a constant, like this is not a limited edition, this is nothing like that. This is a constant, this is gonna be on the market for a long time and you can get it whenever. So whenever it comes back in stock and you want it, definitely get it. The shades perform beautifully. I personally didn't have a problem with fallout. I've seen people who have problem with that, but it's usually been when they go in with like tons and tons of product, and I don't usually like to do that because I prefer to do my face makeup first and then do my eyeshadow. All in all, I think they're great palettes. If you want them, get them. And the color stories, in my opinion, are very unique and very interesting, and it made me really like think like, oh, do I want to do this with this or this with this? Like, it wasn't what you usually see, and I feel like that's probably because Shane hasn't been like in makeup. He's not just recreating what he's seen for so many years. Like, he's actually like coming from a completely outside perspective. It's like, oh, I like this shade, I like this shade, I like this shade, and then they kind of put that together. So he's really like creating something that we haven't seen before because he hasn't seen the same thing and like what a palette is supposed to look like. And I feel like that's what makes the color stories of these so unique, because he's not influenced by all of those years of just seeing all of these palettes that look the same. He just has kind of like a new perspective of it, and I think that's very nice to see, and I think it's really interesting to see like his thought process as well with the series. It's just really nice. So I think I've said all I want to say. I'm really happy to have these. Stay tuned and subscribe for the video when I wear these for an entire week, and I will really try them out. If you want to see more of that, please do subscribe. If you want to see more of me, please do subscribe and like it if you like the video. And that is all for me, and I will see you next time. Bye! It turns so vibrant. Sorry. You know what I think we're gonna do? We're gonna make this just honestly a glitter eye. No, we're not. I'm trying to just wipe off the sable hair brush